This morning, we're talking hopeful holidays.
We have stories of people spreading hope and kindness in all kinds of ways.
You're about to meet a Yale Medical School graduate who has dedicated her whole entire life to studying the body.
And now she's transforming the lives of some people who thought they'd never move again.
Here in Colorado, Lauryn Maloney-Gepfert is trying to help people with spinal cord injuries learn to move again.
See it. See it. Say it.
A student of movement and the body her whole life, she developed a program called Neuroplastic Functional Training.
It's in the brain. It's in the brain.
It focuses on the brain, the body, and the mind all at once.
Neuroplastic functional training is comprised of 3 parts: neuroplasticity, kinesiology, and life education. Breathe. It teaches you how to change your brain so that you can have a different outcome in your life.
Over the past year, Soren Lindum has been working with Lauryn after a skiing accident left him partially paralyzed.
I was gonna jump off a cliff, land for a brief second, and then jump off another cliff. But I went too far off the first cliff and landed on my butt.
The extreme skier broke his back during the 2017 Big Mountain competition in Idaho.
You feel like this snap in the back of your head and it's just like lights out.
Today, Soren is moving on his own in the pool and with assistance on land.
You never want to say like, oh, this is it. I'm never gonna move my legs again. And so during the whole process, even before I met Lauryn, I said that, yeah, I'm gonna walk one day.
I just won't quit. You know, I'm not going to quit until Soren runs across a field.
Lauryn teaches this type of training to everyone, injured or not, because she believes the mind-body connection can heal. And the result...
Healing is real. It's in our DNA. And that gives me immeasurable hope.
And Lauryn Maloney-Gepfert is the developer of the program called Neuroplastic Functional Training. She's here with her husband, Larry, who underwent NFT after surviving a dirt bike accident.
Yes.
Morning, y'all. Thanks so much for being here. Lauryn, talk to me about this work and how you came up with these 3 elements that really have changed so many people's lives.
Well, I started with just the body work piece, which was finding out about what was going on in the body and learning how to determine what the injury was. And then I moved to movement, got a master's degree in dance and kinesiology. That taught me about the mechanics of the body. Went from there into medicine so that I would have more tools in my toolbox, and always with the mission that I would be able to get to the piece that would give people the ability to heal themselves. And when I came up, when I was introduced to Norman Doidge's book, The Brain That Changes Itself, it taught me about the missing piece, and the missing piece was neuroplasticity. And what that is it's the phenomenon that the structure and function, the actual organ of our brain, all the mechanisms inside, can be changed by our mental intention. And so what we think and how we put things into our brain is really significant. So I developed a system that combined the functional piece, which is a movement piece, the neuroplasticity piece, which is the brain piece. But I found that unless I removed the obstacles that people had to healing, the paradigms that we had, you know, if somebody tells you you're not going to walk,
Right.
and you agree with that, how can you change your brain to ignite it to get your body to move?
This has been your life's work. You were tearing up when you met your husband through this.
Larry, what was your situation? You had an accident. What was your treatment?
Yeah, I had a dirt bike accident in Moab. I had a C2, which is a hangman's fracture. Yeah, so basically I could shrug my shoulders when I was done, and the prognosis was that if I was able to feed myself again, that was going to be great. And I figured out a little bit of this stuff on my own in a hospital in Denver, in a rehab hospital, and then, but I was still very spastic and very not using the right muscles to the right job. And until I met Lauryn and went through her programs and went to her classes, it really tied into changing my brain to tie those muscles groups together again. You have to really learn to do all the functions again. The walking just doesn't come back. You have to learn it. You have to start from scratch.
You don't you stress you don't have an MD. Have there been any studies done on the efficacy of this, or what?
Well, we've done one study. No, I'm not a physician. I'm a physician assistant. And what we are doing now and what we're moving towards is studying this, because we've had so many people regain function who have had paralysis. that now what we need to do is study it. We did a study in June of this last year with 4 case studies, 4 spinal cord injury people, and we trained a team of 16 people because we also have to have providers, right? There's not enough people to know how to do this. I can't be the only person. And we had huge outcomes from that. So we haven't introduced it to the medical community yet. We're finishing writing up that study. And then we're going to look for people to help us study it.
You're the ground level of something that's just
Exactly.
a complete game changer.
It's-
I want to mention that Soren, in that piece, our producer spoke to his doctor, and the doctor said that he had suffered a fairly remarkable injury, and in my medical opinion, his injury was one to keep him from walking independently ever again. So, to your point, he was told he couldn't do it.
Absolutely.
We just saw the young man walking. How does that make you feel?
Honored. It makes me feel privileged, and it makes me galvanized to keep going. You know, all of the people that we've worked with were told that same thing, and they're all moving.
The support to keep going and keep doing the trials and making this?
That's a beautiful question. We are raising the money right now. We have the Neuroplastic Functional Institute is the for-profit organization that provides the services, the classes. The Healing Out Loud Institute is our benevolent arm, and we are trying to build a dedicated pool so that we would be able to have people come to us and we would be able to treat them.
And this whole thing is NFT, that's how it's referred
Yeah.
to for people.
Neuroplastic Functional Training.
Well, you're changing the lives of so many. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
guys.
much, Lauren
Thanks,
and
Lauren.
Larry,
Thanks,
for
Larry.
being
Happy
here.
holidays.
Thank you guys.
We'll be right back.
Merry Christmas.